our archive services days or weeks or months hence. It is wonderful to have you as part of our little morning group. And what we're talking about today is this line in Genesis where God says, "Humble yourself." And it's this idea. It's an Old Testament line, and it's we've been looking at what does it really mean to humble yourself? What does it really mean to compel yourself? This interesting admixture of like we've got to humble ourselves, we've got to compel ourselves, we've got to yield in right size, which we talked about yesterday. And at the same time, we find a great deal of empowerment. I mean, there's lots of paradoxes, or at least apparent paradoxes that I think are pretty easy with life experience to understand how they work. And today we're looking at this concept of bottoming out. And before I read it to you, I want to just share a thought. You know, I spent a lot of years as an administrator, a high school administrator. To make a long story short, I can remember many times, you know, seeing young men and knowing that they were doing things that were not going to serve them well. And I'm thinking about like drug usage, any number of things, you know, things that I just knew were not going to serve them well. And I imagine many of you know people who are the same way. And it's kind of like, you know, I was old enough to have the experience of life that I could see the train coming down the track. And it's that old thing, you know, is that the light at the end of the tunnel or is it the train coming down the track? And, you know, when you're older, you can see the train coming down the track. You can see with a young adult relatively easily, and I think probably a lot of the time accurately, that, well, if you keep doing this pattern, it's not going to end well. And so I would try to intervene. I try to explain it to them. I'd use lots of words and verbiage because I kind of viewed it like this. If you look at life, like life's going along and then you hit this cliff, and when the boys would start to hit, or a young man would start to hit that cliff, it's like, oh, we gotta sort of push them up here, you know, just as they're tipping over. That's where we had to intervene. Now, did that work some of the time? I'm sure it did, you know, and it's not that that's a bad thing to try at all. It's not a bad thing to try at all. What I did find over the years is the most meaningful changes didn't come up here a lot of the time. What they did is that they came at the very bottom, where literally, and this is hard to put into words, but I think it's understandable. We're literally where they were just left with a yes or a no decision. Either yes, I'm going to continue to do this, or no, I'm not. But there was no more crap. There was no more excuse. There was no more this, that, the other thing. You know, as I tell the boys all the time, you know, when I catch them doing stuff is, you know, again, as an administrator, I'd say, look, these are the steps. You're going to deny, you're going to minimize, you're going to deflect, and then you're finally going to admit. And it wasn't until the admit stage that the change could really happen. And it didn't always happen all at once, that's for sure. And it didn't always even happen when somebody came to the bottom of that and had to make a simple yes, no decision. And that's where compulsion comes in. Now that compulsion at the bottom of that place where it's just simply a yes or a no, you know, sometimes it's not that, all right, I'm never going to drink again. That, you know, promise, never going to drink again. Yes, no decision there. But it may well be that they finally are able to make the decision that I'm powerless over alcohol, or I'm powerless over a drug addiction, or I'm powerless over this, that, or the other thing. And again, so important as always for us to remember that part of this is being able to help other people. And part of this is also looking at ourselves and saying, oh yeah, where is that true for me? So there is something, friends, with just realizing that sometimes things just need to bottom out. And let me read you a little passage just from the book Secrets of Heaven on that topic. This is talking about compulsion. This is especially true in times of spiritual crisis. If at those times we compel ourselves to resist the flood of evil and falsity, we have more freedom than we ever do in a crisis-free state, although we are unable to grasp it at the time. The freedom lies deep inside. It gives us the will to subdue evil, a will strong enough to match the power and might of the evil attacking us. Otherwise, we would never put up a fight. And it's kind of a fascinating idea that actually at those moments you are the most free, because there is a stark choice. And so much of life we don't go through, like there's not, I mean, you know, today I got a lot of things to get done, but I'm not having a lot of stark choices today. And yet when we're in a time of crisis, you know, which inevitably we do find ourselves in, that's where we really have the freedom, because there is a definite stark choice. Sometimes that stark choice might be to actually take an action, or to or to say no more to something. And sometimes that stark choice is just to admit powerlessness over that thing, whatever that might be. And you would know the recipe for that. So the takeaway for today dealing with humility is just to know that there is such a thing as bottoming out. And sometimes we go there, sometimes we have to let our loved ones go there. And especially I'm thinking for those of you who are struggling with a loved one who's probably on the process of bottoming out, is what I want to offer to you is just a lot of compassion, because it's hard to watch. And the second part of it is to just know, yeah, they may well discover a freedom there that they're not going to discover in any other way. And it's hard to watch. It's hard to watch somebody's life go careening off the rails, but that may be where change actually is most likely to occur. So, friends, I hope that makes sense, and I hope that leaves you a little bit inspired, because I know for me it brought a certain peace, a lot of peace that, yep, we're all supposed to do our bit to help other people, but in the end, God has our journey, and a lot of those journeys for most of us, if not all of us, will have at least some arenas where we bottom out. And when we bottom out, that's not always a bad thing. A lot of good stuff. I think a lot of us have seen a lot of good stuff come from that. So I hope that makes sense, dear friends. And what we're going to do now we're going to shift gears. And the way we're going to shift gears is this. We're going to shift gears into a little meditation from the Old Testament. We're going to do a little prayer. We're going to do a little blessing, and then we'll say hi to folks on social media. So with that, dear friends, let's get a little breath. Be still and know that I am God. Be still and know that I am. Be still and know that I. Be still and know that. Be still and know. Be still and. Be still. Be. Our Father, who art in the heavens, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, as in heaven, so upon the earth. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, as we also forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen. May the Lord bless you and keep you. May the Lord make his face to shine upon you and be gracious unto you. May the Lord lift up his countenance upon you, bring you peace, and bring you home. Amen. All right, dear friends, let's give a little cheery hello to folks. And I hope you all have a wonderful day ahead of you. I know I have a wonderful day ahead of me. It's a lot of good stuff to work on today, which is always very enjoyable. All right, let's take a little look over here. Sorry, folks. Okay, boom. One more flip and see if we got any comments there. All right. Okay, 4 comments over there. Steve, good morning to you, buddy. I hope you're doing well over there in Hapro. Briella, great to see you joining us. Good morning to you. Linda, good morning to you. I hope you're doing well. Melissa, great to see you. And congratulations on your graduate, my friend. That certainly is exciting. Wonderful, wonderful news. All right, dear friends. Well, God bless. Take care. Have an amazing, wonderful day, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.